Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with a Kick. We are all back in studio, quote unquote, for this one. So, and we've got a lot to cover. We've got the end of group stages for Euros and the first two match days of Copa America to get done. So we got to pick for that round of 16 and see how quote-unquote well we did in picking for group stage of Euro. If that's any indication of how well it went, then you're right. But we'll go ahead and get right into it with the last match day for Group A, being Switzerland and Germany, and then Scotland and Hungary. Those two picks we both got. We both got the Switzerland-Germany one wrong, and you got the Hungary one correct, because Hungary did end up winning. Let me get back over to my page here. Yeah, but Switzerland and Germany was a 1-1 draw, and Scotland beat Hungary 0-1. For Switzerland and Germany, oh boy. It was a battle of the onside-offsides calls, because Switzerland was barely onside for their 28th minute goal. And then when they came and almost scored in the second half, in the 84th minute, they were barely offsides for that one. Other than that, Füllkrug saves Germany, because Switzerland handled the match pretty well. Füllkrug comes in and saves Germany at the very, very end of it. A lot of late goals in match day 3 for Euros. A lot of pivotal and very late goals in that one. And then for Scotland and Hungary, Scotland, yeah, they looked like they were done with the tournament. That Hungary kind of controlled the match a lot, and there wasn't a lot going on. They should have Hungary should have had one on a free kick in the 41st minute, but they ended up scoring finally in the 90 plus 10. But they squandered some early chances in the 41st and the 90 plus 3. But not a lot going on in that one. The Switzerland-Germany one was more interesting for sure.
Yeah. I expected more from Germany, to be honest. I mean, they played really well in the first two matches. I mean, you look at the standings, they had 7 goals in the first 2 matches, only 1 here. Maybe that shows how good we've both kind of been saying Switzerland has been.
Just solid, just rock solid, basically.
Yep. Yeah, defensively rock solid. They actually hold possession decently. Germany was more empowering as far as possession goes, but I thought they still held their own despite the disparity seen in the stats. But yeah, I mean, the goal by Füllkrug was important because it would have put Germany in second, which could have potentially put them in against an opponent. Obviously, we'll talk about who they'll potentially play in the round of 16, but them getting first actually really benefits them, because you don't want to be second in this kind of tournament.
Yeah, especially with who they would have ended up playing had they gotten second, which I think we get to right now. Yes, because they play the winners and losers, I believe, flip-flop here for these two. Is that right? Hold on. No, not quite. But the winner of this group plays the second place. Hold on. Whatever. We'll get to it in a second. Because that does end up having Germany go first on 7 points. Switzerland got second. Hungary does get third, but they do not advance. They're not one of the fourth placers that advances due to, I believe it's goal difference with some of the other third place finishers, namely Slovenia got in just ahead of them. On 3 points. But really, I mean, Hungary didn't deserve to get through to the knockouts anyways. But as far as our picks are concerned, I did very poorly here. All I got was that Switzerland went through, because Germany obviously won the group, so that marks me off there. You got Germany and Switzerland inverted, as well as Scotland and Hungary. So not a great... We have worse coming up. But not a great way to start coming up here for Group A. Group B, Albania and Spain played, as well as Croatia and Italy. And as far as our picks are concerned, I got this group correct on both accounts with a exact pick there for Croatia and Italy. You did miss Croatia and Italy. Now, that Croatia-Italy match was basically just a battle of goalkeepers. Both of them were playing extremely well. Donnarumma continues to maybe be like the player of the tournament. If Italy can win this thing, I don't think they can, first of all. They don't have enough offensive production. But if they do, I think you give it to Donnarumma because he has been stellar for them in goal. At 5th minute, he had a great save on just a howitzer fired at him from Croatia. And then there was a 26th minute, a point-blank save by the Croatian goalkeeper. 54th minute was a pivotal moment in the match. That was where Donnarumma saves Modric's penalty kick, gets deflected and recycled, and eventually it ends up with Modric on the opposite side of the goal, on the far side of the goal, ends up rocketing it into the top shelf of the net. A very interesting scrum that I said Modric gets the last laugh on that. And then 90 plus 8, Italy saves themselves. Like I said, late goals abound here with a great counterattack, leaves it open. The goal scorer there, who was it? It was, almost got it.
Zaccagni
opens the hips, open-footed shot, curler to the back post, a thing of beauty in the 90 plus 8. Just inside the box. So it doesn't go towards or outside the box scoring stats that we've seen going up, but it's still a beautiful shot nonetheless.
Yeah, Spain did not demolish Albania like I thought, but nonetheless got the win. The stat I want to pull out is Italy gets second in the group with 3 goals for and 3 goals against.
Wow.
And somehow got 4 points. That, you put it on, you hit the nail on the head. Like, really, it's going to take offensive production for them to win because Donnarumma is playing amazing.
Yeah.
They need that offensive production. And then you have a team like Spain, 5 goals for, no goals against. This group was a very good defensive group because even Albania's keeper held his own.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it could have been worse because Spain was definitely playing better than Albania just throughout. My note here was that Spain, 13th minute was always coming for Spain. They were just dominating. 45th minute, Albania does almost draw level. And then in the 90 plus 2, Raya did have a fantastic save to save the full 3 points. So Albania didn't go away. They were still fighting into it, but Spain did look the better side throughout. Yeah. And then for the results for that, this was a pretty good group for you. You got Spain exactly right with them going first. You got Albania correct with them going fourth. But you did flip-flop Croatia and Italy. And Croatia, on only 2 points, does not go through. So that's why I also had this one rather... I had Spain going through, so I've got it good there. Croatia only won. I had them in first, so that didn't happen. And Italy in third, because we were under the misapprehension at the beginning that Italy hadn't won anything recently. So I'll make up for it here in the knockouts. Okay, Italy, you're doing very well. But Albania, you got the short end of the stick on this one. Getting a point, going home with a point and being competitive is good enough for Albania, essentially. Then we go to Group C. Group C, man, what is this? It was 7 goals total across all matches in Group C. Not a lot of good action across any of these matches. Let's see. I'm doing this out of order, unfortunately, because they scheduled them out of order. But I will go ahead and go to Group C. My Group C notes for England and Slovenia. My only note was that there was a decent free kick by Phil Foden in the first half that almost went in, and then he was offsides on one that he did put in, and that's it, because that was a horrible 0-0 draw. Very, very dull. And then for Denmark and Serbia, where's my Denmark and Serbia notes?
It wasn't very exciting.
Yeah, Denmark, Serbia Denmark played well in the first half, And then it was pretty even in the second half. And
Serbia
that was my note for
almost
those.
Get a goal. I think it was the late 70th, early 80th. Like their only shot on target was almost a goal.
Yeah.
And it would have sent them through. But, boy, Denmark had to hold the line there at the end.
Yes. It was more exciting. I would say the Denmark-Serbia one was more exciting just because it was a little bit more even, like I said, in the second half. But still, not great. And that just is how that group played out. Unfortunately, I suppose, 3 of these teams do make it through to the next round. England takes first on 5 points with their 2 goals for and 1 goal against. Denmark is placed above Slovenia. I think this one comes down to actually disciplinary action. I think the tiebreaker here for Denmark getting second, Slovenia third, comes down to yellow card accrual because they're on the same goals for and against, 0 goal difference, 3 draws. I think it comes down to yellow cards if I'm not mistaken, because they drew 1-1. So even in they scored the same amount against each other and the same amount against like opponents. Did they both 0-0 draw Serbia? No, they didn't. But
it would have had to have been 1-1 as well.
But still, it's really, really not good stuff to watch. As far as the breakdown for the picks that we did for this one, I got this. This one was my best group because I had England first, Denmark second. So those are exactly correct. And then I just flip-flopped Serbia and Slovenia because it was close until the end. Like I could have been almost exactly right. You got Denmark going first, Serbia going second. So, and then Slovenia fourth and England third. So that was probably
England is lucky. England is lucky.
England is
any other group, they would have been knocked out. But they I was almost right.
And their draw, they got lucky too for who they're playing going. Well, maybe not. We'll see. But it could certainly be worse for their knockout opponent. We'll get to that in a second. Then we'll go to Group D, which has actually happened before they did the Group C matches, which is why my notes are out of order. Netherlands and Austria and France and Poland. Those were the respective matches there, which we got the France one wrong. Yep, both of us did, because we both picked one side to win. And then I got and we all both got Netherlands and Austria wrong because we didn't think that Austria was going to win. We both actually picked a draw on that one, to be frank. But for the matches in total, how did you like these going down?
I'm going to start with Austria and Netherlands. Netherlands
for good reason.
I mean, they held possession, but they looked poor. The fact that they're going to go through is the grace of God himself because they played so bad. Austria beat them. I mean, Austria played incredible. They dominated the ball. They dominated on defense. Final third, they just looked better. They deserved to win. The final goal by Sabitzer was just
great.
Clinical finishing in the 6-yard box, puts it right over the shoulder of the keeper. I mean, it was great. The Dutch just looked like they didn't know what to do. And then you go over to Poland and France. It kind of looked like France already knew they were going through.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously they didn't, but being on 4 points, they kind of could feel it. And then after the Mbappe penalty, they kind of just sat back. They allowed Poland to really press there at the end. They ended up getting the penalty. France, maybe it was 88th, 90th minute, had a chance that could have put it in front, but they missed it. So I don't know. Poland played well, but clearly they had nothing to play for other than spoiling. And getting a draw kind of spoiled it for France because now they're second. They might not get the best team to play in the next round. No. I don't know. France did not look like the previous World Cup runner-up.
Yeah, and Austria, just as we all had it, Austria goes out top of this group. Oh, wait, that's not how any of us had it. We had Austria getting 4th and 3rd, respectively. This was probably our worst group as far as picking is concerned. Well, no, you did get Poland in 4th. But Poland got gypped out of a penalty there in the 90+5 that really could have changed things. I think it was a penalty, but they didn't even... I mean, it was at 5 minutes of stoppage, so I don't know if they just wanted the match to be over, essentially. And with the Netherlands drawing, like, it probably isn't going to make a difference in the long run. But Poland only getting 1 point out of this tournament is a terrible look for them, especially coming into this. I mean, you had a tough draw, but I still think that it's a bad look for Poland, who's usually a stronger opponent when it comes to the Euro Championships. But yeah, for the Netherlands, Austria, own goal strikes again in the 6th minute for the Netherlands, and it was a terrible own goal by who was that? It was Gakpo was one who scored. Where'd my note go? Where'd it go? There it is. Nope, not this one. I gotta close down those tabs when I'm done with them. I lost it. Whatever. Whoever did that. There it is. Malin. Terrible own goal. And yeah, Sabitzer, great. Sabitzer's been playing very well in this tournament for Hungary, and that's part of the reason why they're so high up and playing very well. They're going to be a dangerous draw in the knockouts, which you wouldn't have expected going for at the beginning of this. But we'll move on from Group D to Group E, which is our matchups of Slovakia and Romania, and Ukraine and Belgium. Speaking of lucky sides here, Belgium sneaks through with their draw. I mean, this is the tightest group out of all of them, obviously, because they all end on 4 points. The only thing that separates them is a minor amount of goal difference, with Romania being at a 1 positive, Belgium 1 positive, Slovakia 0, and Ukraine -2. So it's, I mean, if you just went on a points basis, Ukraine would have bumped Slovenia because they had more points than them across the tournament. But that's not how this works out. So unfortunately, Ukraine does have to go home in this one. Let's see. Oh man, but they did almost steal it at the very end of it. That was the 84th minute. Ukraine corner kick goes for the goal, and that ball was halfway across the line before it got palmed out by the goalkeeper, who had to come back into the net to get it. It was almost a very different tournament for Belgium. They would have been bounced entirely, which, I mean, if we're talking about Poland being disappointed, Belgium getting bounced in the group stage is wholly unacceptable for the currently third-ranked team in the world.
Yeah, Ukraine, I don't think they deserved to win it, but they definitely had the chances to win it. Again, Belgium just looked like they weren't sure who they were as a team.
Well, except for two guys, except for Kevin De Bruyne and Jeremy Doku, who play together, in the league season. Outside of them, there's not a lot of organization for Belgium, and Lukaku is not playing up to his name at all in this tournament.
I'm not going to say I told you so, but at the very beginning I said Lukaku is not anywhere near where he was even 5-6 years ago. And, I mean, De Bruyne played him a sweet pass in the first half, and he just whiffed. He whiffed it. He had several whiffs that probably should have been goals. But, yeah, tough for Ukraine to have more points, but since they weren't a third-place team to miss out, I think I would like to see that changed in the next Euros. Because, did they think a team was going to get 4 points and finish 4th? Probably not.
No.
But a team has, and you hate to see them go out after playing so well, and then other teams go through who really just squeaked by because they had an easy game.
Yeah.
So, Ukraine, sorry, you had your chances, though.
And on top of that, I mean, Romania got the penalty kick in the 35th minute, but I'm still convinced that should have been a free kick. That foul occurred outside of the box, and it it wasn't even that the foul thing carried into the box. It was just that it occurred outside, and they, for some reason, even after a VAR review, VAR said, no, this should be a penalty, and they gave it in. Because outside of that, Slovakia's defense was fantastic.
Yeah, VAR, again, one of those circumstances where they have the best view, they ought to be the ones making that decision. And yet it came down to, well, do we really want to overrule the official on the field? Probably not. So, I mean, you're right, though. The foul occurred on the other side of the white line, not the penalty side, and yet it was awarded a penalty. So, tough. It's maybe they had something against Ukraine. Who knows? But it's tough to see that be the reason why Ukraine gets bounced.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. And then we get to the surprise of the tournament, probably, in Group F. Before we go, we will go ahead and just mention that for our group picks, this was probably your worst one. All that you got right was that Belgium got first. That Belgium went through because they didn't get first, but they did get second, which is an automatic qualifier. I had Slovakia in third, so that was a perfect pick for me, but I did have Ukraine getting second and Romania getting fourth. We both had Romania in fourth. They're very, very surprising. But your Iceland came through for you here on the last match day in Group F. Georgia beats Portugal 2-0, and the Czechia and Turkey match was a mess. We'll just put that kindly as just a true and total mess, which we'll get to in just a moment. But yeah, Georgia and Portugal. Portugal had lots of chances, lots of good chances, but Georgia made theirs count. Essentially, is what it came down to. It started off very early with that terrible giveaway in the midfield by I can't remember who exactly it was, but Portugal gave it away to Georgia, and Georgia just converted on the counterattack there in the second minute, and then Portugal, nothing went in. What is even that they played terribly? They had very good chances. It couldn't convert. Yeah,
it's the mentality. Like that second minute giveaway leading to the Kvaratskhelia goal, however you say his name. I mean, it clearly affected Portugal's mentality for the next 20 minutes because it felt like they were still trying to get into the match. And then second half, they played a little better. But once that penalty went in, you could feel Portugal kind of just realizing that we've made it. Let's not go out and get injured. Like they put on some subs, took out some starters. So, but really, like the second minute goal was crucial because of the mentality piece. Because then Georgia actually believes that they have the ability to win, and Portugal's like, oh no. Well, now we got to do the math on if Turkey wins, and no, we're still through anyway, but goal different. So it starts to make them think about other things and not the match at hand. And you could kind of see that in their play.
Yeah, and the Georgia goalkeeper, Mamardashvili, played very well and was the reason why Georgia was able to go through 2-0, which puts them at they didn't get top of the group, but it did put them through in third with 4 points. Turkey, and then we go to the Czechia and Turkey match. 20th minute red card for Czechia, which is a double yellow. And I think the second yellow is a little harsh, especially for it being his second yellow and we're 20 minutes into the match. But the first one is definitely a yellow because it was just, it was a tactical yellow there. Second one I think was a little bit harsh. But after that, the center ref was kind of the tail of this match because what was it? It was at one point I think all but 4 of the players on the pitch for Turkey had accumulated yellow cards, and ended up that Czechia with some after the match was over activities ended up getting 2 red cards. But the game itself ended 2-1 with Turkey getting the win. The first, nothing really happened, which is a credit to Czechia with them being on 10 men for so long. 51st minute, it was a scrum that was happening in front of the goal, essentially, that led to a thunderbolt for Turkey. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Czechia gets an equalizer a few minutes later, just in the 66th minute, with a little bit more scrummy action in front of the goal. That it wasn't a great goal by any means, but it gets you in. And then by the time that the 82nd minute rolls around, it was just they were just tired. 90 plus 4. Sorry, that was a note for the other one. But Czechia did have a goal that I thought was wrongly disallowed in the 82nd minute. That's what this note was. 82nd minute, Czechia scored, and it was disallowed for... Oh, shoot. Now, I didn't write down why it was wrongly disallowed. They called a foul in the box, I think, on Czechia, but it wasn't a foul. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was a little bit of selling from Turkey.
That's right. Yes.
And it was almost after the ball was hit, and then I want to say the guy shoved him down. Something happened, but
it was two things that happened. The ball was bouncing in over the top, and the first guy got his feet tangled and fell down. The second guy played like he was pushed from behind by the Czechia guy. He wasn't, which both of these guys fall down. The Czechia guy then gets it. I think he puts it across for somebody else to kick it in. But on top of that, it could have also been called a handball on the Turkey guy, because he, when he's falling down, reaches out his hand and basically bats the ball down on the ground. And instead, it goes the other way, and Czechia doesn't get any goal. And then just a few moments later, that 90 plus 4, Turkey gets it, and it was a mess. It was a mess in total, just bad calls all around, and a very heated end to that match.
Yeah, heated end. I mean, it was just, like you said, tired legs, tired minds. You're really frustrated that you had a goal disallowed that you knew probably should have been given. And I don't know if it would have mattered a ton in the end. Because I really don't know where Czechia would have fallen as far as goal difference goes. I think they actually would have gotten in.
If both of the picks had gone their way, then they would have gotten through probably in third, because Turkey would have been on 3 points. They would have been on 4 points, and Georgia would have had a better goal difference more than likely. But since they had 4 points, they would have gone through over Slovenia, who only had 3. But as far as picking this was probably our worst one. We both had Portugal going through first, which was the easy pick. But after that, I had Czechia going second. You had Georgia going second, so at least they still went through. But other than that, yeah, you had Turkey going fourth, and I had them going third. So neither of us had them having a shot. So yeah, our group picks ended up. It was a messy Euro. I mean, exciting, a very good tournament, but certainly against what we would have expected, just with how things were going in. That does bring us to the actual quarterfinal matchups, which we will now roll directly into here real quick. We won't spend a lot of time doing these, but there's some, I mean, for not quarterfinal, round of 16, not quarterfinal, round of 16. Sweet 16, if you will. There are some really tasty matchups here, starting off with the first one, which is Switzerland and Italy. Going first. See, this is what we were talking about. Germany would have been in this spot if they had not gotten first. And you don't want to play Italy right now. Right now, I've got this one going. I have this going 1-1 draw with Italy winning 3-4 after extra time is what I've got for this one. Because I think if Italy can just score, they've got a really good chance. And that's what it comes down to for them.
Yeah, I'm a Switzerland believer, man. I love their chocolate, I love their mountains, and I love their defense. So I'm going to go push all my chips on Switzerland to win 2-1, mainly because I cannot trust Italy to score. It's true. But Switzerland has proven that they can score. It's true.
Yeah, 2-1. And Switzerland has been hammering them from outside the box, which, that's a little bit against – it plays better against Italy's defense because you're not trying to unlock them. You're just trying to get that space at the top of the box. Then it just comes down to you and Donnarumma, which is not a great bet, but you could see it happen. Then the second match is Germany taking on Denmark, which I think is a good matchup for Germany. I think they do take it 2-1.
Denmark has been, again, another team that defensively has been very sound. Germany, after their last match day, I don't know if I want to chalk it up to just knowing they were going through. I think I'm going to lean that way. I think they take it 3-1.
Yeah.
I think Denmark is a little older than they were 3 years ago, older than they were in the World Cup 2 years ago, and they're kind of showing that age in their offensive production. So I'm going to go 3-1 Germany.
3-1 Germany. Yeah, it was a good poll for Germany. It was important that they got first in that. And then England takes on Slovakia. I don't think this is a good matchup for England because Slovakia has been in their last match, they're very strong defensively. And there's no creativity up top for England. I mean, it's like Phil Foden and he can't do everything. Jude Bellingham has not played very well. Which is shocking because he just won. He just won the Champions League and played very well in that final. But for England, he has not played well, and I think that Slovakia takes it 1-0. I think England gets bounced in round of 16.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. Slovakia, this is only their third time making the knockout stages in any major tournament.
Yeah.
They've lost in the round of 16 both times. But I just like their defense. Yeah. These teams are just playing really good defense. They're flustering the teams they're playing. Slovakia, I think, can score. Yeah, I think because England just really doesn't have an identity, they don't have the wing play that they need with how they want to be set up. I think this one goes into penalties. Slovakia wins 4-3 on pins. I think it goes 0-0 all the way to pins.
Wow. 0-0 with a 4-3 penalty win for Slovakia.
Yeah.
Then we get to probably the one that will. I mean, you may feel differently about this, but Spain pulls Georgia as their matchup. And if you're Georgia, listen, you're happy that you're through to knockouts, but then all of a sudden you're not very happy you're through to knockouts. I think Spain takes this one 4-0. I think that they're playing very well. They were able to take their foot off the gas for their last group stage match, but I mean Georgia could pull something, but Spain's better than Portugal right now, and I don't see much happening here for them.
I was trying to be perfect in the round of 16. I'm going to throw out my perfection.
Oh, boy.
Actually, I think it's still going to be perfect. I think Georgia wins 1-0.
Wow.
I think they recreate the only other time they've beaten Spain. They beat them 1-0 with a late winner. I think they do it this time.
Wow.
I think they beat Spain 1-0.
That's bold. But you know what? You've been riding with Georgia. You've been riding with Georgia the whole time.
I got to keep them. They pushed themselves in for me, so I gotta keep riding them.
Gotta keep riding them. Now this next one, this is what you would have expected probably going into this tournament for maybe the final. Instead, we get it in the round of 16. France and Belgium, 2v3 in the world right now, and neither of them playing up to their expectations by any stretch. So what does that mean? I think it means that Belgium wins it in extra time. 3-2, because not a lot has to change for Belgium to score. Just that last touch needs to be a little bit better, a little bit more awareness, because there was even an instance in the previous match that Belgium drew where it was a 2v1 and the guy who received the ball could have played it forward to Kevin De Bruyne, who would have slotted it back across to him. I mean, Kevin is a selfless player, and he'll slot it back across. He'll make the right play. They just need the people on the other side of the ball to finish up on the right play, and they can make it through. France, I think that they will figure some things out, but it won't be in time to win it.
Yeah, France's kind of identity has been that fast pace to Mbappe or whatever winger they have. They don't have that pace in this Euro, And I think if they had it, they would beat Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't, I think Belgium wins 2-1 in regulation. I think they figure it out. I think they figure out how to finish in front of goal.
Yeah.
They do it clinically. They don't get a lot of chances, but they convert the ones they get.
They just go back to how they're playing match day 2. And they can win if they play like that, because that was a much more cohesive attack in that one. Then we go to Portugal and Slovenia. Portugal, how do you have this one going? I don't know. I don't have a good feel for this one because Slovenia made it. They're the worst placed team to make it through. They only had 3 points, but Portugal, I don't know. They haven't been clicking on all cylinders either.
Yeah, Slovenia, this is their first ever knockout stages appearance. I think they might have sort of a Georgia vibe. Portugal, though, I can't see them getting knocked out here. Yeah. I think they win 3-0. I think it's comfortable. I think they get back to how they were the first 2 games. And I think they become the favorite after this one.
Yeah. As far as mainstays, probably so. I have it going as 1-0 for Portugal. I think they do pull it out as well. I think it's just a more frustrating match than anything else. I don't think that Slovenia really challenges them much on the attack side, but kind of keeps them a little bit off kilter enough so that they have to struggle for the goal that they do end up getting. And I'll give it to Cristiano. I'm Team Messi as opposed to Team Ronaldo when it comes down to that conversation. But I think that he played well enough.
That's a big admission. That's a big reveal.
Hey, you know what? You heard it here first. I'm pretty sure I've said it on a previous episode. But who's watched our previous episodes? Who's going to go back to 2022 and watch that episode? But I think that he played well enough that he probably should have scored against Georgia in their last match day. He played pretty well in that. It just didn't quite come together for him. His teammates didn't help him out. They took the ball from him in one instance where he was probably going to get an assist, but still, it wasn't like he played terribly. And I think that they do take it 1-0. And then we go to Romania and the Netherlands. What do you got for this one?
I don't know, because neither of these teams have been consistent. True. I think the Netherlands really want to win. Romania really want to win. I think Romania actually has the ability to play looser in this match than the Dutch do. And I think because of that, they're going to win. Okay. I think the Netherlands have a target on their back of being a big name, but underperforming most of the tournament.
Yeah.
I think Romania has that looseness to where they can come in, start out hot, stay hot, play some good defense. I think they win 2-0. I think the Netherlands are going to have a handful with Romania, and Romania is going to go through.
Yeah. The Dutch do feel gettable, and that's why I concur. I have it going 2-1, but I do still have Romania going through. They're just playing. They're playing more free because they had lower expectations coming into it, and they won. They got through on 4 points, but still, they technically won their group. I mean, that's probably a nice bonus for those players. So they're probably going to be feeling pretty good about that. And then to our final one, the matchup everyone saw coming into the round of 16 here, Austria and Turkey. Boy, this one is weird. Okay, so I've got this one going 2-2 through to extra time, and then 3-1 as the penalty pick. I think it goes 3-1 as the winning scoreline for penalties with a lot of misses. Is how that works out.
Oh, yeah.
For Austria, to be specific. For Austria.
I'm going to go 4-1, Austria winning. I just think that Austria is playing way too well.
Yeah.
Soccer is very much a ride the hot streak sport. And when you're in a tournament like this, the hot team is going to keep winning until they don't. And I don't think Turkey's going to be the brick wall that Austria runs into. I think they're going to be the Lego wall that they knock over.
Wow.
So I'm going 4-1. I think it's going to be a bloodbath. It's not going to be good for Turkey.
No.
They're going to go home with a lot of disappointment.
Nope. And, that would be, they made it through at least. But still, going out 4-1 isn't going to feel very good. But yeah, that's what we've got for this round of 16. We don't have an episode. We will have a pick episode come out in the middle of next week, Wednesday, because I will now be unavailable to do recording. So this one's on me. But we'll have something come out on Wednesday with further picks for the quarterfinals, and then we'll be back with a standard episode the following. But before we get out of here, we have to go over and talk about that little doodad called Copa America, which is ongoing. The first 2 match days have occurred. We'll cover this briefly here. Let me get over to my notes page for that. And where did that go? There we go. Yeah. So as of right now, we've got both match days 1 and 2 already finished. Argentina, they look pretty safe going through, but it is going to be interesting to see what happens for their last match day coming up. We could just kind of talk about the picks and the things that have happened so far. Yeah, Argentina looks like the best team in this group very clearly. Other than that, Canada winning one puts them in a very interesting position against Chile, who only has 1 point right now after drawing against Peru, who lost to Canada, obviously. So I've got this going as I think Argentina, who will be out Messi for this match. I don't think it matters because Peru's not very good. I think they take it 2-0. And I think Canada draws Chile 1-1 to make it through to knockouts, surprisingly, because I did not have that. I did not have that pick going into the group stage here. But they've played well enough to make it through, I think. And all they need is a draw, and they are through against Chile. But Argentina does look like the best side. I think they're still favorites in the tournament. I mean, going down Messi, it was just a little bit of a ding, so I think they're just resting him because they're already through. Like, they can't not go through at this point, so why not? Mm-hmm. But yeah, what's your opinion so far on Group A?
I think Canada got really lucky with the Peru red card. I think before that, they did not look like a side that was going to go on to win the match. And then even with the red card, they had 30 minutes plus to score, and they only got 2 shots on target. So, like, they just look dead once they get into the final third when their attackers are their best players. So that doesn't really compute with me why they're doing that. Coming up, I honestly think Chile and Canada are going to draw.
Yeah.
I think they're going to draw 1-1. I think Peru upsets Argentina 2-1, mainly because it's going to be kind of that Portugal effect. Mm-hmm. They're going to feel like, do we want to play hard? Do we want to play all of our players? We're already through. Messi's already out. Who else do we sit? So I think Peru comes in. They get an early goal. Argentina levels it. 50th minute, Peru gets one late. But I think Peru has the stuff to actually beat Argentina, mainly because of that just mindset difference Argentina's going to have versus Peru. I think Argentina and Peru go through.
Yeah, that would put Peru through on goal difference over Canada. Yeah, that would be huge for them. Yeah, and then to Group B action. Right now, we've got Venezuela, surprisingly, on the top of the table with 6 points. Ecuador and Mexico are level on 3 points, but Ecuador above on goal difference. And then Jamaica. Jamaica is playing where we thought they would be. They have lost both of their matches and have a -3 goal difference. So they aren't officially out, but they are essentially out. And Mexico's in the danger zone. They're kind of where I was placing them. What have been your takeaways and picks for here, match day 3?
Yeah, Mexico, I mean, they just don't look like the Mexican team that we're used to seeing. They don't look like they have a lot of passion. I take that back. They're still dirty, as we saw in the last match. Well, they still want to play dirty.
Yeah.
But they just don't look like a team. They don't look like they have that 1 or 2 stars that they need. I think Mexico and Ecuador are going to draw 1-1, ultimately putting Mexico out. I think Venezuela beats Jamaica 3-2. Jamaica has some good players. Like, I think it was 2021 when a lot of those English players who were left off the team were allowed to make a switch. So they have a few pretty solid English players in Michel Antonio, Damari Gray, but they just don't look like they played together enough to actually be able to form a cohesive team. So I don't know, 3-2 Venezuela, gonna take it.
I have Ecuador outright beating Mexico, actually 2-1 in their match, because Mexico just they haven't put a full match together, really, in my opinion. Their win against Jamaica is only 1-0. I mean, Jamaica is not very good. So I think Ecuador will want to put their foot down here and make sure that they are getting through. I mean, this is their tournament. Ecuador is from CONMEBOL, and they'll want to advance in this tournament. Mexico is one of the invitees, so you don't want to get bounced from your own tournament by someone who you invited to be here. For Venezuela and Jamaica, this is kind of like the Argentina match as well, where Venezuela knows they're through already, and Jamaica, they're playing for kicks and goals. I think it's only a 1-1. I think it's a draw 1-1, but Venezuela already knows they're through, and if they get at least a draw, they're through top of the table. So that gets them a better matchup in the next match, in their quarterfinal match. Then we get to America's group, and boy howdy have we made it tough for ourselves here. Currently, we are technically second in the group. We are above Panama on goal difference. But Uruguay is looking very good, and we have to play them. And Bolivia is looking very bad, and Panama gets to play them. Now, our first match, USA, it was interesting because it's not often that we are so clearly the better side in an actual tournament play. Because we were definitely a lot better than Bolivia and could have won by more than just 2-0. Like, the first goal by Pulisic was obviously very good. I thought Balogun didn't take advantage as much. He ended up getting a goal in the first match, but still, I think he had some missed opportunities there. And who we replaced him with, I can't remember who it was, but did not play very well when he came in. And definitely, second half, we had some opportunities that we should have taken better advantage of. Second match against Panama. Boy, wasn't it just a CONCACAF qualifying match? I mean, it was rough and tumble. Panama was taking it to us. Tim Weah, though, it was almost a good result, the match. We ended up losing, obviously, because we lost. But it was almost a gutsy draw when playing 70 minutes at 10 men, because Tim Weah shoved a guy in the head. After it was, the second guy, it's the same. It's the rule of thumb, right? The retaliator is the one who gets in trouble. It's like, well, he hit me first. Like, well, I saw you hit him. That's what happened to Tim Weah. But it's going to be tough going against Uruguay and not necessarily needing a result, but having to. I would prefer beating Uruguay. I just don't think we can do it. I think both these matches actually end up being draws. USA, I think Bolivia and Panama draw 1-1. Because Panama, I don't know how good they are. They're just really rough. And that will sometimes mess you up. And I think Bolivia will try to get out of here with some sort of result. I mean, right now they're on 0 points and -7 goal difference after losing 5-0 to Uruguay, which does not bode well for the USA. But I think that for the USA, I think that we draw 2-2. And I don't know if it's a late goal by us or a late goal by Uruguay. But I think something late is going to happen in this that I can't predict at this point. I'm just hoping we get through. Because if we don't, then, Berhalter's gone, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, just a poor performance again by Ricardo Pepi in this second match. I mean, he continues to be trusted to go on for our starter and just plays horrible. Missed a wide open chance versus Bolivia, was in a very poor position for a wide open header, ended up just hitting it straight up pretty much. So it's like our subs aren't doing anything. It's really our starters that are actually the ones doing things. That's a really tough place to be when you're a team in a Copa America, when you need your backups to come in at the end and potentially get a result. So ultimately, I am getting some Algeria World Cup 2010 vibes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some Landon Donovan 2-1 heroic vibes.
Okay.
I think we beat Uruguay 2-1.
Okay.
And ultimately, not take the group, but ultimately get through comfortably.
Right.
I think the issue is, can Bolivia not lose by more than 1 to Panama? Because no matter what, because of goal difference, we're just hoping that Bolivia can somehow, because if my result holds, we win 2-1, we'll have a 2-goal difference.
Right. So
as long as Bolivia
3 cushion.
Even if Bolivia loses by 3, Panama would still go through on goals for. So we need them to only lose by 2 or less.
Unless we win, if we win 3-2, though, then I don't know what the next one would be.
Yeah, I think Bolivia loses 3-1. Ultimately, because the U.S. win in my scenario, they go through. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be very tough because Bolivia is very bad.
Yes,
honestly, we should have beaten them 5-0 as well. Uruguay is very good. Panama's rough, but they're at least a team.
Right.
Bolivia looks very much like all of them have day jobs doing something else.
Yeah.
And they're just here as a hobby.
Yeah. And it's in one sense it's great because Pulisic has played like extremely well for us. Like he has looked like our superstar, but it is the same issue that the USA has had for maybe 15 years at this point, that we have not developed an out-and-out striker. We have not developed a top goal scorer. Basically, probably since Clint Dempsey was our goal scorer, our top forward. I mean, Jozy Altidore filled in that role a little bit, but he was always hit or miss. And Chris Wondolowski, don't even get me started on Chris Wondolowski. I don't know how he kept getting on our team sheet.
Wondolowski!
Yeah, it skied it. Whatever. That's his whole career, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care about his MLS production, all right? I don't care about it at all. But we haven't, since Jozy Altidore, Josh Sargent came in and played a little bit, but he hasn't ever come through for us. Like, he's played well. I think he's in second division of Germany still at this point. Or is he in first
He
division?
was in the championship with Norwich at one point. I don't know if that was this past season, but he was at one point.
But I just don't understand. But I don't know why we can't do it. Like, can't we find just a tall, fast guy who can at least get on the end of headers or something? You know, I feel like we should be able to do that. But yeah, it's definitely a nail biter, as it typically is for the U.S. It's gonna be. We'll see what happens. I mean, my prediction still looks hopeful. Our finishing second in the group. Uruguay definitely looks like they're locked into first. But we'll go ahead and finish up with Group D, which is Brazil and Colombia and Costa Rica and Paraguay. It looks like Colombia and Brazil are going to take care of this group fine. It'll just come down to who gets first. Probably it'll be Colombia at this point. It comes down to this match, essentially. Brazil and Colombia, and then Costa Rica and Paraguay. I think Brazil does take it 2-1, which I think will put them through first, and Colombia in second, and then Costa Rica and Paraguay. I have Costa Rica winning 3-0 over Paraguay. That's just how I feel like it goes.
Yeah, I mean, given the fact that Colombia is, just smacked Costa Rica, I think Brazil. Yeah, I don't know. I think Colombia at this point, I think is going to take the group. I think they're playing extremely well.
They are.
They haven't played Brazil yet. So
in full disclosure, we are recording this during the last Group D matches, so that's why we're a little bit squishy on this one. I am predicting that I think Colombia has won at this point as far as this recording, or at least they're up enough that
it's 3-0, 90th minute.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I think that Brazil wins tonight is essentially what I am saying. And then they win, so they could then go through because they'll be on 7 and Colombia would be on 6. But, so that's why we're a little bit sketchy about how this group is shaking out.
Yeah, I think Brazil, They did not play well in the first game. But I think they bounced back. They beat Paraguay 3-0. And I think it's going to set up a really good, I think, 1-1 draw versus Colombia. Both teams are the classic South American, skillful. You want possession. You want to pass. You want to do all of your theatrics. I think Costa Rica, though, does have a chance if Colombia beats Brazil. If they can beat Paraguay at this point, 5-0 or 4-0, whatever it is, they could technically go through. I don't think they do.
No.
I do think Costa Rica beats Paraguay 2-1, but ultimately I think Colombia goes 1, Brazil goes 2.
Well, we'll see how that goes, and luckily for us, that Wednesday then places it. So we'll make predictions. I believe I already said this, but we'll make predictions for the quarterfinals of Copa America and the round of 16. The quarterfinals and quarterfinals for both. What? Hold on. Am I going crazy? No, I'm not. Quarterfinals for both, I believe.
Yep.
That's how that will end up working out. Whatever. We'll see what happens. We're gonna have some picks out on Wednesday for that, and then come back with that full wrap up episode. But until we get over there, why don't you go ahead and grab your coffee, watch some soccer. We'll see you on the other side. Hey,